Picture this. It's 10:38 on a Sunday morning. Your phone buzzes. KD to the Rockets flashes across your screen. But here's what you didn't see. 3 hours earlier, a clever capologist in Houston was hunched over Excel spreadsheets running salary calculations for the 1,000th time. A scout in Phoenix was frantically texting his contacts about Jalen Green's injury history. And somewhere in New York, an NBA league office employee was probably wondering why they signed up for the 24/7 trade hotline. I'm your host Kyle, and welcome to Basketball Business, where we uncover the money moves behind the hardwood. If you're a fan of these types of videos, hitting those like and subscribe buttons really makes a difference. It tells YouTube this is content worth recommending, helps me deliver more deep dives on the business side of basketball directly to your feed. With the NBA offseason in motion and the dust settling on major moves like the Kevin Durant trade, I think it's the perfect time to go behind the curtain of how NBA trades actually happen. Not Twitter rumors or the shams bomb, but how an NBA front office really makes a big swing happen. You probably think a trade happens like this. One GM calls another GM, they haggle on the phone for a bit, do a virtual handshake, and boom, trade done. That's not even close. Let me paint you a picture of what actually goes down. Modern NBA front offices aren't just some dudes with a flip phone making deals. We're talking about corporate operations with more moving parts than a Swiss watch. First up, your capologists. These are the financial wizards who live in spreadsheet hell so the rest of us can enjoy basketball heaven. They're not just plugging in numbers into the ESPN trade machine like us mortals. They're calculating luxury tax implications, trade exceptions, and figuring out how to make a 3-team deal work when one team is hard capped and the other team is trying to duck the second apron. That phrase, the second apron, has been thrown around a lot recently. But what is it exactly? Think of it as a mix between a hard cap limit and a luxury tax limit. The second apron for this upcoming season will sit at $207.8 million. Cross that line, your team basically becomes a financial prison. Can't aggregate salaries and trades, can't use the mid-level exception, and you can't trade future first-round picks. It's brutal. But capologists are just one piece of this puzzle. Analytics departments are running projection models that will make NASA jealous. They're not just looking at points per game, they're diving into synergy tracking data, measuring defensive impacts through player tracking cameras, and building models to predict how a player's shooting splits might change in different offensive systems. Scouts aren't just watching the games anymore either. They're building intelligence networks that would impress the CIA. These professionals take detailed notes on anything from how a player responds to criticism from a coach to how he welcomes a new teammate. Because when you're trading for someone, you're not just getting their encore production, you're getting their entire personality and all the baggage that comes with it. And video coordinators, they're the unsung heroes pulling all-nighters during trade season. These coordinators have to create film packages on 30 different players during busy trade periods. That's thousands of clips organized by situation, opponent, time period, whatever the front office needs to evaluate. But here's where it gets really interesting. Every single person in the NBA will tell you that they hate it when trade talks leak. Hate it. They can poison a locker room, tank a player's value, and kill deals before they even get started. So why do leaks constantly happen? Simple. Because they're weapons. For every additional person involved in trade talks, the leak risk grows exponentially. You've got players, agents, team staff members, support staff, family members. Someone's gonna talk eventually. But sometimes, teams want the leak. Think about it. Let's say the Heat are interested in Kevin Durant, but don't want to give up Jaime Jaquez Jr. Suddenly, a report comes out that Miami is reluctant to include Jaquez in any Durant package. Is that accurate reporting or strategic positioning? Teams will literally call about a player they have zero interest in just so they can leak that conversation and create chaos between the player and his current team. The goal? Make that player so miserable that he demands a trade. It's psychological warfare disguised as basketball operations.
Mr. White, he's the devil. You know, he is. He is smarter than you. He is luckier than you. Whatever you think's supposed to happen, I'm telling you, the exact reverse opposite of that is going to happen.
What I like most about the business of NBA trades is that it's a repeating game. You can't avoid the GM that burned you on a deal a few years ago forever, because eventually you might need them to help you make your own deal happen. So building and maintaining relationships is crucial for long-term success. Some GMs are more trustworthy than others. Some organizations leak everything. Some owners change their mind at the last second. Smart front offices adapt their strategies based on who they're dealing with. But the KD trade shows us something fascinating about timing. The Suns had been having serious conversations with Houston, Miami, and Minnesota for weeks, if not months. Multiple wildcard teams jumped in late to try and get on the action. We're talking about Toronto, Cleveland, and Denver. But ultimately, Durant's expiring contract and extension eligibility meant he could basically pick where he wanted to go long term. This isn't uncommon with superstars. The better a player is, the more involved their agent becomes. Good agents are constantly identifying potential landing spots, maintaining and building relationships with front offices, and positioning their clients for favorable results.
I asked for 1 hour out of a day for his undivided attention. And I can't even have that?
You can have it if you want to live in Agora Hills and go to group therapy, but if you want a Beverly Hills mansion and you want a country club membership and you want 9 weeks a year and a Tuscan villa, then I'm going to need to take a call when it comes in at noon on a Wednesday.
See, that's it. There it is.
You know what? I have to take this.
All right, here's where things get absolutely insane. When 2 or 3 or even 6 teams finally agree on a trade, they have hours to execute what will normally take any other industry weeks to complete. First, medical information is exchanged. Every MRI, every treatment plan, every weird injury from high school that might matter. Teams are sharing proprietary medical data that can kill the deal instantly if something's been hidden. The Kevin Durant trade probably involved extensive medical review given his injury history. Houston needs to verify he's healthy enough to contribute immediately and assess long-term durability for any potential extension. Next comes the quantitative and qualitative verification. Not just do the salaries match. We're talking about trade bonuses, incentive splits, insurance policy transfers. The capologists are running final models while legal experts are drafting protection language for draft picks that might never even convey. Then comes the moment of truth, the trade call with the league office. This isn't a casual conversation. All teams must verify every single detail on a recorded line, exact salary figures down to the cent, reporting dates, contract terms, dense legal language of draft pick protection that spans multiple pages. The Kevin Durant trade shows this perfectly. Houston had been building towards this moment for months, maintaining their relationship with Durant and his representation while developing the assets Phoenix wanted. When the opportunity arose, they were ready to pounce. The market developed, offers were made and withdrawn, and ultimately, Durant landed in one of his preferred destinations in Houston, a team that had done their homework on his fit with their young core and coach Ime Udoka.
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Major transaction cycles aren't just about making moves. They're about positioning your team for the future. Teams are constantly evaluating not just what a player can do today, but how they fit into their 3, 5, and even 10-year plans. The new collective bargaining agreement has created distinct tiers of trade flexibility. Teams above the second apron are basically handcuffed. Teams below it have more options, but they're constantly calculating how any move might push them into restricted territory. Modern NBA front offices are running sophisticated operations that would make Fortune 500 companies jealous. They're balancing analytics with intuition, managing the salary cap like it's an investment portfolio, and conducting psychological warfare through carefully orchestrated media leaks. And through it all, they're trying to build championship teams while keeping everyone, players, coaches, fans, and owners happy. So next time you see a shams bomb light up your timeline, remember, that announcement is just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath it is months of preparation, days of negotiation, and hours of intense legal and financial work by dozens of people you never hear about. That is the real business of basketball. Thanks for watching this deep dive on how NBA trades actually happen. If you learned something new, drop a like and let me know in the comments what trade surprised you most recently, outside of the Luka trade. Subscribe to more deep dives into the money moves that make the NBA work. Until next time, this is Kyle with Basketball Business.